Hi guys! Welcome to my class. Our topic for today is to write fractions as decimals. You're going to learn it here, the easy way. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe so that you will be kept updated on the next math lesson. Then, like and share so that you can also help other students. We are going to learn today how to use fraction equivalence in writing fractions as decimals. Let us work on this example so that you will be guided. Express the fraction 1/4 in decimal form. I want you to take note that our target is to make the denominator equivalent to 100. So, we're going to write 1/4. We're going to think of a factor that will make 4 equivalent to 100. Correspondingly, we're going to multiply the fraction 1/4 by 25/25 so that we can arrive to the fraction equivalence where the denominator is equivalent to 100. Therefore, 4 times 25 is 100. And 1 times 25 is 25. Accordingly, the fraction equivalence of 1/4 is 25/100. I want you to take note that if we have two zeros on the denominator, we're going to write the decimal point on the numerator 2 places to the left. And it will give us 0.25. The decimal can be read as 25 hundredths. Let us work on another example so that you can understand the lesson well. Express the fraction 3/10 in decimal form. We are going to multiply the fraction 3/10 by 10/10 so that we can come up with a denominator that is equivalent to 100. And 3 times 10 will give us 30. Accordingly, it will give us 30/100. The equivalent fraction of 3/10 is 30/100. Since we have two zeros on the denominator, we're going to write the decimal point on the numerator 2 places to the left. And it will give us 0.30. Or we can simply cancel out the 0 on the numerator and 1 0 on the denominator, which will give us 0.3. And the decimal can be read as 3/10. Let us work on another example so that you can practice more. Express the fraction 12/25 in decimal form. We are going to think of a factor that will make the denominator equivalent to 100. Accordingly, we're going to multiply the fraction 12/25 by 4/4 and we can come up with our target to make the denominator equivalent to 100. 25 times 4 is equivalent to 100. While 12 times 4 will give us 48. Since we have two zeros on the denominator, we can write the decimal point on the numerator 2 places to the left, and it will give us 0.48. The decimal can be read as 48 hundredths. Let us work on another example so that you can fully understand the lesson. Express the fraction 3/20 in decimal form. The steps will always be the same. We're going to look for the factor that will make the denominator equivalent to 100. And whatever number we multiply with the denominator, we need to multiply it also with the numerator. Accordingly, if we multiply the denominator by 5, it will give us our target to make the denominator equivalent to 100. Therefore, we're going to multiply the 3 by 5 also. And it will give us 15. 3 times 5 is 15 and 20 times 5 is 100. Since we have two zeros on the denominator, our decimal point must be 2 places to the left and it will give us 0.15. Hence, the decimal can be read as 15 hundredths. Let us work on another example so that you can perfectly understand the lesson. Express the fraction 9/12 in decimal form. Do we have a factor that will make the denominator equivalent to 100? We need to divide the fraction 9/12 by 3/3 so that we can look for a factor that will make the denominator equivalent to 100. 9 divided by 3 is equal to 3, and 12 divided by 3 is equal to 4. Now, we can look for a factor of the denominator that will make it 100. Accordingly, we can multiply the fraction 3 over 4 by 25 over 25 so that we can come up with the denominator that is equivalent to 100. In this regard, we have met now our target to make the denominator equivalent to 100. 4 times 25 is 100. And 3 times 25 will give us 75. Since we have two zeros on the denominator, we need to write our decimal point 2 places to the left. And it will give us 0.75. The decimal can be read as 75 hundredths. Let us work on another example so that you can hit it off. Express the fraction 255 over 500 in decimal form. Our target is to make the denominator equivalent to 100. So, in this case, we need to divide the denominator by 5 so that it will give us 100. Likewise, we need to divide the numerator by 5 also. Accordingly, 500 divided by 5 will give us 100. And 255 divided by 5 will give us 51. I want you guys to remember this. If we have two zeros on the denominator, we're going to write the decimal point on the numerator 2 places to the left. Correspondingly, it will give us 0.51. The decimal can be read as 51 hundredths. On this account, we have met our goal for today's lesson. We have learned how to use fraction equivalence in writing fraction as decimals. To wrap it up, in writing fraction as a decimal form, we're going to multiply the fraction that will make the denominator equivalent to 100. Likewise, I want you to always remember that if we have two zeros on the denominator, the decimal point must be placed on the number of the numerator 2 places to the left. Furthermore, there are fractions that needs to be divided first so that we can come up with a factor that can be multiplied to meet the goal of making the denominator equivalent to 100. Like in this example, we need to divide the denominator by 5 so that we can meet the target of making the denominator equivalent to 100. It is easy, right? To conclude our lesson for today, I want you to always remember what His Highness Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, may his soul rest in peace, wrote for us. Education is like a lantern which lights your way in a dark alley. Sheikh Zayed wrote and left this quote for us because he wanted the youth to give importance to education. His quote will handed down from generation to generation, but the genuine concern of Sheikh Zayed for his nation will always remain. And the desire of Sheikh Zayed's heart will surely be realized in the succeeding generations. And to encapsulate our lesson for today, I want you to always remember that life is a math equation. You cannot get the most of it if you cannot convert the negatives into positive. I do hope you have learned a lot for today's lesson and you find it easy, okay? Till next math lesson! Catch ya later, guys! See ya! Check Math Brainiacs for more lessons, okay?